You could start it in the morning. No rush, no rush. It won't ever be boring. No sauce, no sauce. Yeah, you feel great, no lie. Hands off the grip, put your fingers at the sky. Take it slow at first. Feel the rhythm flow with a little bit of burst. Push the pedal like you're going somewhere. Yeah, 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 yeah. No brakes, feel the wind through your hair.
Hey everybody, welcome to my very first The Word on the Curb. And if you have been listening to my podcast for a while, you know every now and then I'll say, now I don't know if this is true. This is what the squatties are talking about. This is just a word on the curb, meaning that it's not substantiated, meaning that it's just something I heard, it is rumor. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about it. It doesn't mean we can't chit chat and kiki about it. And that is why I created this segment. And it's going to be quick. It's not going to be it's not even going to be as long as the pop-ups. This is going to be maybe 8 minutes or something like that. Just something really, really quick when I find something I want to bring to you and it does not have any kind of support. I don't know if it's true or not. So that is what I am going to put into the word on the curb. All right, y'all, let's get into what I brought to the table. And let me tell you, it is delicious. It is delicious. And it comes from Radar Online. And that is the reason why I put it into the word on the curb, because we all know that Radar Online is anything but reliable. But you know what? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And that is the way it is with Radar Online. Sometimes they be right on point and have the story, well, they get the story right. So that's the reason why I said, I don't know. It's the word on the curb. But like I said, every now and then a blind squirrel will find a nut, and Radar Online just might be have found their nut. All right, then I'm gonna put it up, and it is a repost, and the original post says this: look, even her sister is sick of her nonsense. What is this squatty talking about? Look at the article. It says, inside Kate Middleton's secret feud with sister Pippa, and how siblings have been torn apart by new obstacles as their lives couldn't be more different. I believe that. Now, y'all tell me in the comments if you believe it, because I absolutely do. Because why would we think Lady Macbeth, aka McMumbles, aka Mean Girl #1, would be any different? Kitty Cat is a mean girl, and why would she not be mean to her sister? Now, we all know Pippa's family, well, her husband's family is going through some things right now because her father-in-law has been accused of, well, how can I put this in a delicate manner? Well, he is accused of the R word, or something very serious when it comes to a underage girl. I kid you not. Now, it's not in England, it's in another country. Now, this man is a billionaire because Pippa's husband comes from a family that is a billionaire family, because we all know the Wisteria sisters do not marry poor men. They are in it to social climb. So it could be that, because that is going on. And the word on the curve with that is that these accusations against the matriarch of this family has been devastating to this family. So I don't know how everything is going. I know the brother to the one that married Pippa, him and his wife are having marital problems that just might result into getting a divorce. But she also was someone that criticized Megan, and all I can say is good luck on that one. But I digress. We all know Kitty Cat will distance herself from anybody if she feels in any way it might sully her up. Because we clearly saw when she was outed as the royal racist, she had to catch performative cancer. Her and Charles both had to catch performative cancer in order to try to get cleansed. But I digress. I said all that to say this, that Pippa doesn't stand a chance. If it shakes out that her father-in-law is convicted of this particular crime, I would be surprised if Kate never spoke to her again and she never got an invitation to any royal event from that point on. But like I said, I digress. And we're going to look at this article. And this article is saying that Kitty Cat and her sister Pippa is not getting along. And I must say, I'm not surprised by any of it. But this particular squatty that reposted this post said this, laugh out loud really, really hard. I mean, Pippa did go on vacation for the Caribbean and was diving on a yacht when Kate was recovering from major abdominal surgery. Now, as y'all remember, let's think back. When Kate was admitted to the hospital, everybody found it so odd that nobody in her family, her mother, her father, her brother, or her sister showed up to say boo to Kate. At least, I'm telling you, the press was camped outside with cameras trained on all the doors of the hospital, and they absolutely caught nobody from her family going in or out of that hospital. So this right here might be the answer to that question that everyone was asking. Why didn't her family visit her? Yes, because everybody was saying. We just knew that we were going to see family members going in and out of the hospital. Like when Anne got kicked in the head with the horse, her husband was over there all the time bringing food and everything. And Charles went in there, and pretended like he did something. I don't know what he was doing up in there, washing his hands or something. I don't know. Chasing nurses. I don't know what he was doing up in there with his performative cancer. But I digress. He absolutely had Camilla coming just about every hour on the hour. And it was a stark contrast to Kitty Cat being in there and nobody paying her any mind. Very strange. Very strange indeed. And yes, this particular squatty just absolutely hit the nail on the head. Pippa went on vacation. Pippa was frolicking on the beach with her husband as if nothing was going on. She had one of her butt cheeks hanging out of her swimsuit and was just as happy with it as she can be. Now, me personally, I wouldn't have been happy with it if my butt looked like hers because it looked like a deflated tire in the back. But I digress. This is what she was doing. That's what she wanted to do. And she absolutely acted as if she could have cared less that her sister was going through what she would supposedly was going through. And the squatty went on to say, if that were my sister, I would postpone my vacation. I think anybody would. But we also have to keep in mind that these are lizard people. They are. They do things a little differently than warm-blooded people. You have to admit. Yes, they pretty much do things totally and absolutely differently because they could care less. But I thought Kate and Pippa was raised warm-blooded. But money, power, access to wealth can turn some people's blood cold and they transform into lizard people as if they were born that way. And I think maybe this is the case with Pippa, and it's certainly the case with Kitty Cat. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up, and this is some of the squatties' response to this particular post. And one squatty said this: Pippa named her daughter Rose. And when I found that out, I found that so strange because we all know what is associated with the name Rose. And then this squatty goes on to say, Willis's best known lover. We all know the rose bushes, and it didn't come from the squatties. It came straight from those flying monkeys. So we all know where it's smoke, it is fire. And Pippa went and named her daughter Rose. And this particular squatty went on to say Willis's best known lover, which says it all about the sisters' relationship. I agree with that because I'm telling you, if my sister named her daughter after my husband's girlfriend, my husband's side piece, my husband old skank, my husband other significant one, I would have a problem with that. And y'all know something? We never see Kate and Pippa together doing anything. Anything. We don't see them doing nothing. I'm just saying. So this is the reason why I believe this might be true indeed. Then the next squatty said this: We've been new since last year for sure that relationships between Kitty Cat and Pippa was estranged. One of the reasons is the abuse scandal of Pippa's father-in-law. But it all started earlier when Kate stole Pippa's early childhood plan. She was creating into a business after graduation on the subject matter. Well, Pippa had went back to college and got her master's degree in early childhood development. And Kitty Cat stole that. We all know that they probably all stole from that little 10-year-old girl that did that TED Talk, but I digress. And so Pippa, who really is the brains of the family, went back and got a master's degree. And when she knew anything, she left her papers, sitting around, and Kate scavenging around trying to find a purpose to her meaningless life, ran across what Pippa was doing for her thesis, I'm sure. And that's how the whole thing was born, with Kate and her nonsense about children's early years. Kate could care less about children's early years. All she cares about is somebody clapping for her and her getting a money shot. That's it. That's it. So, yeah, so this is what the squatties are saying. The word on the curb is this took a real toll on the sisters' relationship because Kitty Cat stole everything from Pippa. We all know that dynamic, don't we? Because William still tries to steal everything from Harry, his younger brother, and it might be the same dynamic in the Middleton family where Kate, which is the less talented of the three, is always stealing from the other two. But that brother of hers is pretty much dumb as a rock too, so maybe it's just Pippa is the one that's gifted that way. Because boy, he cannot get anything right. I have never saw anything like it before in my life, but I digress. The next body said this. Pippa was living it up, laughing and frolicking in the Caribbean without a care in the world. Yet they wanted Megan to postpone her life for Kate. Y'all remember that? I really can't talk about this very much because I get so heated. Because I remember a lot of the panels were talking like that, saying that Harry and Meghan should postpone their lives in some kind of way. And then we look at the other family members that were over there, Harry and Meghan, 5,000 miles away. But yet and still, all those family members over there, Zara, her brother Philip, and all them was going to races and doing all manner of things, going on vacation. Her own sister was frolicking on the beaches of the Caribbean, but yet and still they felt like Megan should be obligated to this woman who has done nothing but lie, and the treachery that has come from this woman, that Megan was supposed to put her life on hold, but we all know why they wanted her to do that. It's because Megan was putting too many points on the board and showing them up for the mediocres over there. It's not just Kate who has a problem with Megan's excellence. It is a lot of these mediocre women over across the pond and here on these very shores have a problem with Megan for no other reason than Megan shows them up to be the mediocres that they are. It makes them feel bad. Those two dudes, those sickly dudes, who said they're women, but I am not convinced of it. That, I'm telling you, it strikes to the heart of some of these old, ugly, old, desperate, old, broke down hags. That Megan is excellent. See, y'all, I done got started. I done got wound up. I cannot talk about that period because it makes me heated. So I'm going to move on. I am going to move on. And this other squatty said this. They're not on speaking terms anymore. Pippa doesn't approve of all of the bull, you know what, and lies. Well, I'm telling you, it might be that performative cancer was the straw that broke the camel's back, because that is a huge lie to have to go along with. I'm just saying. So I'm just going to be real interested to see if Pippa and her husband is going to show up to any royal events. Now we know that the mama and daddy will go to the opening of an envelope, but I must say I haven't saw Pippa and her husband lately, but it has not been any royal events that they have been invited to either. But that would be an interesting observation. I'm definitely going to stick a pin in that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't just show up to royal events, because one thing you never see is Pippa and Kate hanging out together. Kate has been on vacation 3 times this year, and none of it with Pippa. Now, I think she went with some of the Middletons in the beginning of the year, but I didn't see where they mentioned Pippa was involved in that trip. So yes, we will have to stick a pin in that. And this last one said this. Pippa went on vacation because she knew her she was not sick. I'm just saying. Because I tell you what, that family went absolutely silent. When they said that Kate had this performative cancer and this abdominal surgery and everything, they faded to black. Everybody faded to black. Even I think the uncle was on Big Brother, and he kept talking in riddles. I never could understand what he was trying to say. but it is a mess. And all I can say is I love this for them. I really do. Because it just proves that Kate is this mean, treacherous, evil person that we have always thought her to be. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to my very first The Word on the Curb. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.